Smriti-Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-Padam Shankaram Loka-Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhatarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavandau Punah Punah Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Beta Vibhakine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ukaro Anthakaro Vai Rukarastan Nivartakaha Anthakara Nirodhitvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidya Acharyaya Nachiketase Namaha. Namaste all of you. So we are going through the instructions given by the Lord Death to Nachiketas in a traditional manner. Sambhradaya Shastra Sambhradaya Pathanam. How the tradition teaches the ultimate goal for an individual who is following the natural instincts. From that standpoint, slowly, step by step, the person is being elevated by the traditional teachings. In the same manner, Lord Yama teaches Nachiketas as the third boon what he has asked. I will read the shloka, but right now what we are studying, and we will see the meaning, what Shankara says on that verse. Shloka number 18, second chapter of Kaṭha Upaniṣad. Na jayate briyate va vipaschit nayam kutaschit babova kaschit ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha na hanyamane na hanyate hanyamane sharire. We have seen almost the meaning of this entire slogan. We are just in the last pada, the last line of the slogan to be seen, the meaning to be seen. Na jayate priyate va vipaschit. This all-knowing entity, which is also all-pervading in each and every individual and each and everything, what is sentient and inert, all the things which we see in this universe, this all-knowing entity, the Brahman, is all-pervading, and also it is not subject to death or not subject to birth. Na jayate, not subject to birth. Na mriyate, not subject to death also. It is not a cause or it is not a effect. Nayam kutaschit na babuva kaschit. We already seen all these sentences properly in the last class. Just now I am giving the gist. Ajaha nityaha shashvataha ayam puranaha. Ajaha. birthless, the consciousness which has the potential to create the entire universe, which is also residing in our body, and which is our intimate nature or intrinsic nature, that consciousness is not subject to birth, ajaha. It never get any birth in this universe, even though it is appearing inside our body in the form of consciousness. It is not subject to birth. Nityaha, it is eternal. Whenever we say eternal means it is not subject to any kind of modification or any kind of alteration. When I say modification or alteration, it never get converted to a female body or it never get converted to a male body. May you understand that, okay? There is no converting to another thing. This consciousness is eternal because this consciousness is eternal. Puranaha. From the past onwards, it is new. In the present, also it is new. And also in the future, it will continue as a new thing. It is Puranaha, Pura eva Nama. Up to that, we saw elaborately in the last class. Now I want to focus on the last pada, the last sentence of this slogan. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. First, I will give you the literal meaning of the sentence. Na hanyate. Never get killed or affected or afflicted. Hanyamane sharire. Even when the body get any kind of afflictions, even when the body get killed, even when the body get any kind of defects, still it will continue defectless. Na hanyate. I will give 2 examples of Adi Shankara. So it will be very easy to grasp the meaning properly. Shankara always takes an example of a pot. Gataha. In Sanskrit, the pot is called Gataha. Pot is always made upon clay. In the olden days, our pots are made on clay. Every pot is different from one to other. Every pot will have different mouth, different stomach, different base, different neck, and each and every pot sizes also will be different from each other. Sometimes the pots will have some chetaha, some kind of break in between the neck or inside the stomach, a small break due to the mixture of the clay or due to the molding of the clay. There will be some gaps. Sometimes the shape of the neck may go in a wrong way. Sometimes the base will not be proper of the pot. So, all these defects are only for the pot, not for the clay. It may have different kinds of defects. I am giving the example in a simple way so that we can easily understand the ultimate truth in its proper way. whatever defects containing or pertaining to the pot will not affect the clay. Clay is always defectless. The pot has so much defects compared to another pot. Itself, it may have some holes, some chetaha, some breaks, some shortages can come while using the pots in our day-to-day life. It may leak, the neck can break, all kinds of defects. Whatever we see for the pot will not affect the clay, the cause of the pot. The effect, which is the pot, is subject to different kinds of defects, different kinds of shortages, different kinds of afflictions. But the clay remains the same. The cause never get affected by any kind of shortages pertaining to the effect. The cause is free from all kinds of afflictions which are only pertaining to the effect. Now I will come to the real fact. The all-pervasive Brahman, which is all-knowing entity, which has also the potential of the power to create each and everything, Sarva Shaktiman also, almighty and all-knowing entity. This consciousness is the only truth, and all other things are untruth, which is a superimposed names and forms on the reality. Satyam Mithya discrimination. The whole Vedanta is centered on Satyam Mithya discrimination. What is truth? What are untruth? This is the central pin of Vedanta. Once we have the discrimination properly, it's very easy to understand Vedanta and what is the human goal. Here, the consciousness, which is the base of entire creation, which is almighty, which is all-knowing entity, which is all-pervading entity, which is also the one and only truth in this entire universe. That one you need to underline clearly. The only one thing which is the truth. This truth is not subject to any kind of destruction. This truth is not subject to any kind of demolition. This truth is not subject to any kind of afflictions. That truth will continue even the effects which are superimposed on this cause get certain afflictions, because body is a mere superimposition on the consciousness. How the body seems to be real? When the artist is so much talented, when he drew a picture in the wall, it seems to be very real because the capacity of the artist, his ability will make the picture as though it is sentient, as though it is alive, even though it is not a sentient entity, it's only a mere picture. But the capacity and the ability will make the picture as though it is alive. So too, the creator is so much talented. The creator is almighty. The creator have the potential to make it as though it is real. As a magician, make the things out of nowhere in his hat from the space, even though that's not real. There is no such a thing comes to his hand from the space. But he creates certain things out of nowhere. That capacity is only pertaining to the magician. So that for the spectators, it seems to be real. We know that a hat of a magician doesn't have any capacity to keep a rabbit inside. But the magician keeps the hat in front of the people and put his hand inside the hat, and he take a rabbit right in front of you. Then we become as though it is real. We think that it is real, but it's a capacity of the magician. Similarly, the creator, being so much talented, he's all-knowing, almighty, all-potential. The names and forms, even though they are unreal, it seems to be real in this world. Know that we are all not existing before 1900, and we will not be here in this world after 2100. We are only in this particular time, we are in this earth. We will come from somewhere, we will go after that. Just in between, we will see for a time being. So, what I want to convey you, when the creator is capable of making the creation in such a way, it seems to be alive. The names and forms seems to be alive. But the reality is, the consciousness is the only truth, and all other names and forms are lending the existence from this consciousness. Like the pot is depending upon the clay for its existence, so too the entire universe is lending the existence from the ultimate reality, what is called Brahman. That Brahman is not subject to any kind of demolition or any kind of destruction or any kind of afflictions. When the names and forms get different types of afflictions, destructions, and demolitions, even certain defects, it is defectless. Na hanyate. It is not being killed or get affected while the names and forms. Sharire means the body. Why here body is being told? It's very easy to grasp the meaning. Even when our body get affected for due to different types of pain and sorrows, This consciousness is not subject to any kind of pain or sorrows and even never get killed at all. This is the simple meaning. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. We are going to elaborate in the next slogan the same meaning. I will read the slogan and I will give the elaborated meaning. Lord Yama again give the ultimate truth in the form of instruction towards Nachiketas. He asked the question whether there is a life after death. For that he answered, there is no life or there is no death for the individual who knows the reality of the world. There is no jananam or maranam, death and birth, for an individual who knows that he is the one and only truth, what we call Brahman. He already answered. Now he is giving the elaborated meaning through the next slogan. I will read that. Hanta chet manyate hantum, hataschet manyate hatam, ubau tau na vijanitaha, nayam hanti na hanyate. Once more I will read. Handa chet manyate hantum, hataha chet manyate hatam, ubhau tau na vijanitaha, nayam hanti na hanyate. Some of you may be also studying Bhagavad Gita or maybe studied Bhagavad Gita. If not, don't worry. After Kaṭha Upaniṣad, we will have Bhagavad Gita and one other Upanishad, and I will teach you what is told in Bhagavad Gita. The same slogan, the same sentences are being told by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. It is almost 19 or 20 or 21st shloka. The same slogan, almost ditto. Why I want to convey this? Because Lord Krishna teaches Arjuna what is told in the Upanishads. Because fundamental solution for all kinds of issues which we are facing in the world, it may be due to family members, it may be due to our surroundings, any problem in my career, any problem in my body, all need fundamental solution. We don't need temporary solutions. People go for temporary solution, which we may not advise. The fundamental solution for each and every problem in my life, what now I am facing, this is the fundamental solution. Knowing one's own real nature will help the person to come out of each and every problem what we are facing now in my life. It may be some family issues. It may be some issues in my business or in my career. It may be certain form of diseases in my body. It may be certain issues related to my daughter or my son. It may be related to a neighbor. Any kind of problem need a fundamental solution. We don't need temporary solutions. Fundamental solution means only one thing. Knowing one's own intrinsic nature. We are not subject to any kind of afflictions. people can behave in different manner. Still, we will not get affected. We will not be a subject for their issues which are being directed towards me. I will not be an object. We are going to see that. So, fundamental solution for Arjuna's issue is being delivered through Bhagavad Gita, in the form of Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna, what is also given by Lord Yama to Nachiketas. We will see now the meaning of this slogan. The same slogan is being given in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. Hanta chet manyate hantum. Hanta, the Sanskrit root han, to kill. Han prastrich, a killer. Hanta. Suppose a person think himself, why Lord Yama took this particular verb, han, in order to give the example, I will explain you later. Just come along with me. I am using simple English. I want to convey you the entire meaning in a simple way. So come along with me. If you don't know Sanskrit, no problem. I am just giving the Sanskrit tips who are interested. Okay? The han dhatu in Sanskrit means to kill. From there, a person who kills somebody is called a killer. Hanta, a person who kills somebody, a killer. A person who kills somebody, a killer thinks that manyate, thinks, consider about him hantum. Hantum means one who is kill something. So the whole meaning I will tell you. A killer thinks I killed somebody. You keep this hanta, the kill, the verb kill, you can replace with anything. If a person think that I have done something wrong to somebody, for the time being, you convert this sentence like this. A person who thinks I have done something wrong to somebody. Here, Lord Yama given an example using the Sanskrit verb kill. A killer thinks that I have killed somebody. And a person thinks that hataha chet manyate hatam. I am killed by somebody, or I am getting killed by somebody. There is no thinking after getting killed. The point is here, when somebody is doing something towards me and I get afflicted and I think that he has done something wrong to me. So there are two people here now. I will give the example again in a simple way. One person is killing somebody, or one person is doing something wrong to somebody. This person thinks that I am doing something wrong to somebody. And that person thinks that I am affected by his action. I got some sufferings due to his action. This is the meaning, what he was conveying to Nachiketas. A person thinks that I am a killer, and the other person thinks that I am getting killed. Simple. Again, I will repeat. A person thinks that I am a killer, and a person thinks that I am getting killed. There are two people. Now come to the third and fourth lines. Ubhau tau na vijanitaha. Ubhau, both. Tau ubhau, those both people don't know the reality of this Atman. We have to take some words from outside in order to get the complete meaning. Ubau tau means these both people don't get the idea or do not know the Atman, that it never get killed or it is never subject to an action of killing. Simply now I am going to give the entire meaning according to our way so that we can understand. I am giving the whole meaning of this shlokan. Listen carefully. There are two people. Somebody is doing something towards somebody. A person is doing some wrong thing to somebody. Here, wrong thing means killing. A person thinks that I am killing somebody, and that person thinks that I get killed by him. Both persons do not know the reality of the Atman, nor a killer or neither get killed. It is not subject to any kind of afflictions, or it will not subject to it is not subject to become a karta, or it is not subject to become a bhokta. Karta and bhokta. Karta means a person who is in action, doership. Bhokta, a person who enjoys the result of action. Bhokta, enjoyership. This Atma, this Brahman is neither a Karta nor a Bhokta. This Parabrahman, this self which is residing inside the body, neither a doer nor an enjoyer. This is the ultimate meaning Yama is delivering to Nachiketas. Again, I will repeat the meaning of the shloka for our understanding. If a person thinks that I am a killer, and another person thinks that I am getting killed, both people do not know the reality of the Atman. Atman never killed somebody, never killed by somebody. This is the meaning. But we want to know the entire meaning in a different way. This Brahman is neither a Karta nor a Bhokta. This Atma, the self which is residing inside our body, we can say soul, we can say self, we can say Atma, we can say Brahman, which is all pervasive in the form of consciousness and formless. That Atma, that consciousness is not subject to do any action, or it is not an object to receive any result of an action. This is the meaning. Why? Any action we do in the world should be presupposed by the desire. Without a desire, we don't involve in an action. Any action, drinking water, eating food, or buying a car, or making a house, or buying an ornament, whatever actions we do in our daily life should be presupposed by a desire. Without a desire, you cannot involve in an action. Atma is apta kamaha, which is free from all kinds of material desires. Purnaha. In one word, Atma is Purnaha. It doesn't have any kind of desires because it is Purnaha. When a person having certain drawbacks or defects, in order to recover the defects, in order to recover the shortage only, we will have the desire. When the Atma is not having any shortages, any defects, because it is in the form of consciousness, because it is not in the form of a human body, that Atma is free from all kinds of defects. That Brahman is free from all kinds of shortages, what we see in the empirical world to our body. Those shortages are not there for Atman. So Atma is Purnaha. Atma being Purnaha, there is no desires. When there is no desires, there is no action. So Atma is also called Akarta. A Atma is a performer of non-actions. Atma is not performing any actions because it is Purnaha. There is no desires. Desires comes from the ignorance, which I will explain you in the coming verses. Just to understand the specific meaning of this shlokan. Atma is Akarta. I am. Whenever I say Atma, please take as an individual soul or an individual self. The self which is residing inside the listener, that Atma is not subject to perform any kind of action. Akarta. Action is meant for the body. Consciousness which is all pervasive and which is the base of entire universe, which is Purnaha, is not subject to perform any action. Akarta Atma. And this Akarta Atma is not performing any actions. At the same time, this is not also will not take a role of an enjoyer. It is not a bhokta. It never get affected by any kind of actions. This is the main issue. I got insulted by somebody. I got humiliated by somebody. I got cheated by somebody. We become the enjoyer of a result of an action done by somebody. But here, Lord Yama reveals the fact that we are not subject to enjoy any kinds of result. It's all pertaining to the body. This Atman is abhokta, which will not be subject to enjoy any kind of results. Abhokta. Enjoyership is not at all there in me. The truth is that my body, which is limited, which has 5 senses, which is subject to enjoy certain things, coming into contact. But the Atman, which is consciousness, is not at all an enjoyer. There is no enjoyership. Atma, Akarta, Abhokta. Atma is a performer of non-action. Atma never having the enjoyership because bhoktritvam is due to ignorance. Enjoyership is due to ignorance. Affliction is due to the ignorance that I am this body. Any kind of lamenting is due to the ignorance that I am this body. This Atma is not subject to death or birth, so that it will never get afflicted by anything. The other truth is that there is no second thing to give an affliction towards Atman, because Atma is Ekaha. This one single entity is pervading entire universe, and this single entity, all names and forms are being seen as though it is real. So there is no second thing to give an affliction to that Atman. So here, Lord Yama says that a person who thinks that I am a killer and a person thinks that I am getting killed, both people don't know the reality of the Atman, that neither get killed nor performing the action of killing. This is the meaning of this verse. I want to give certain instructions also regarding this verse, which will continue in our next session, next class. Now we will go to the Mrityunjaya mantra. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shadini Deshoyam Kshoparahitaha Brahmana Santu Narpayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkhapat Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamatah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.